pleasure. What an absolute pleasure to do this. Thank you for coming along. And I quickly want to see in the chat box, how many sessions have you watched already today? Because I want to make sure you're not overwhelmed. Patricia, Patty from Peru. Oh, happy days. Yeah. Okay. How many sessions have you had already, my friends, today? Or is this the first one you've done? Because for me, I'm based in the UK, and I've just got a. Oh, it's the fifth one today, Rhonda. That's committed. Five. Okay. So I'm aware that this takes us to the days when we won't mention the word, but we were watching back-to-back webinars for a few years ago, weren't we? So I've got to keep in mind that I'm going to slow down, and we're going to have some very useful ideas today. All right. And we'll try and collaborate a little bit on what you would do with these film and video clips that I've found. Just a couple of things to say. So as long as you're focused now, that's great. But everything that I show you will be available as a link to all my slides. Okay, so all the slides I'm going to go through today, and I might go quite quickly because you've done a lot today, and it's a lot to take in. And sometimes, let's face it, all we want to do is go away with all the ideas and try them the next day, which is kind of what I always want when I go to a session. So that's my promise, is to give you lots of ideas, which means that you might have to look at them later on, but I will demonstrate some of them. And the other thing is that these ideas really do work in the classroom. I mean, I haven't really configured this for distance learning, but I'm sure you can easily adapt them. But my focus today was a couple of things, primary and secondary. Okay, so you can adapt whatever I show you to your age groups and levels. So there's no one age today, there's no one level. I just want to make sure you can see the different ways we can take a short clip, and the emphasis is on finding short clips. Short can be 10 to 15 seconds, as you'll see, or 2 minutes. This is not about showing the whole film, and it's okay if you show whole films, but that's a very different kind of idea and project. And my intention is to do what we already do. Let's face it. I'm just going to drink my coffee. Thank you. Cheers. Keep things very focused. When you choose film clips, we want it to be short and very clear about the outcome we want. Sue, hi Sue, you're watching too. How loyal. So when we're choosing film clips, we're looking, well, we know where to look. And I won't brainstorm, all the different reasons for using video. We know why it's useful. But I think it's important that we remember that choosing a film clip, we have to keep in mind, what is the language point I really want to work with in here? Or if it's not a language point, then what is the skill I can practice with the students? And above all, I must make it very clear to the students what it is I want them to do when watching the clip. Now, I know that sounds very obvious, but when they start watching a film or a video, they're immediately lost. We all do it. You get lost in the film. So my tip is, as soon as you've given them a very clear instruction of what they're supposed to do, remember to maybe stop the clip, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds into it, or 5 seconds, and say to the class, let's just check. It's great, and we're enjoying this. What are you going to do again? What is it you need to do? Yeah. Good. Okay, so let's play, because you don't want them thinking, "Oh, great, it's film time." All right. Even if you use it a lot, and that's my first question. Really, is quickly. I'm curious. It's no surprise to be using film and video, and I certainly don't think for a minute that you haven't got your own ideas, and I want to hear those today. But how often? In the chat, could you let me know how often do you use film and video in the class? And it could be from your course book video, or it could be something that you found and that you like. I want to see if you're all paying attention, and you can use the chat. Tell me now, how often are you using film and video in your classroom? Okay. Shaylin, once a week, once a month. Now that's good to hear, once a month. It's good because I want you to do it more often. Twice a week, okay. And the reason I want you to use it more often is that it obviously balances the course book work we're doing. And remember what I said, we're only using short videos, which means they can be very, very easy to prepare. So this isn't about lots of preparation. Yeah, you find YouTube, you use YouTube for your clips twice a week. Okay. And how do you use the clips? And which ones? Which kinds of film clips and how do you use them? I won't spend too long. I'm afraid it's not a workshop, but then get me to Korea or somewhere. I'll get a workshop going because I love doing film workshops live. I think Patty's seen them in Peru. I've just done one in Tunisia. There's nothing quite like getting into the class, but this is okay. We can learn a lot on a Saturday morning for me. So quickly, how, how are you using your film and video clips? How are you using them? And Wunju is saying that you get them from YouTube. Anybody quickly, or you just want to give me, you want me to give you all the ideas? That's okay. What, one or two ideas in the chat? How often? Which kinds of video are you using, and how do you use them? All right, no, nothing. Okay, well, I'll carry on. Here's a hit. Now, here's something you do have to tell me in the chat. Exactly. Okay, that's good. Yeah, getting clips to demonstrate dialogue, and of course, yeah, course books have got their videos included. So here's a as you and by the way, we are all experienced teachers. I don't believe for a minute that anything I'm saying today or some things will be new. All right, we're all teachers. We know how to build up a lesson, and here I often might take a clip, a snapshot from my video before I play it, just so that the students can you can activate the vocabulary, you can warm them up. So I don't go straight into the clip or the film. All right. I'm going to show a little picture, not always, but sometimes. And I might say to the class, where is she and what is she going to do? In the chat, where is she? What is she going to do? I'm going to allow a little gap here. I think there's a delay. In the chat, write down, what is she going to do and where is she?
Hey, Andy, we can't see your slides. Can you go ahead and share the slides?
Oh, you couldn't see any of that? Have I not sharing the slides yet?
I shared my screen, so that was my mistake.
Okay, let me have a look. Hannah, did you see my title slide when it came up?
We haven't.
Ah,
So
okay.
if you could click
All
through
right.
that
Just one
really
second. I'll come
fast.
back. I haven't used many slides yet. That was just the introduction, so we're okay. All right. Okay, I realized I had my head chopped off as well. Right. Share screen. Here we go, chaps. This is what you wanted. Let's see if it opens up properly. And let's get started with the slides. That would help. Okay. All right. Let's see what comes up now. My screen is loading, so that what will happen now is you can see the slide that I wanted to show you, I hope. Get rid of that. And I go to here. So now that would help, wouldn't it? If you can see the slideshow here, it's going to load. Can you see the slide saying the title of my presentation right now, Hannah? Yes, you can. Okay, so this slide, don't worry, don't panic. This slide will appear at the end if you want details. And as I said, all of the slides will be available with more links in a QR code at the end. So quickly, this is why it went quiet. I realize now. Okay, so what kind of films are you using and what kind of things do you do? Oh, we've done that. Sorry. Who is she? Where is she? And what is she going to do? Who is she? Maybe. Where is she? Where could she be? Yeah, exactly. You're getting them to think about the topic, aren't you, WK? I'm going to see if I can see all the messages here. Where do you think she might be? This is me asking you, the students. Any thoughts? She she isn't. Well, she is. You can do that in a minute when we see her. You could do this with going to. What's she going to do? Okay, she's going to open the door. She's a mom, maybe, and there's no right answer or wrong answer because actually I don't know the answer either, and I don't really care as long as the students are paying attention and starting to be curious because we're getting them to be curious. She's opening a shed. She's going to get toys for her kids. Oh, Rhonda, I love that. You're so wrong. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let's give you a little bit more. So instead of playing the film now, you see, you think you're gonna see the film, but actually, I'm going to go to a little bit more, like using a normal flashcard or a visual. We're hiding a little bit of the picture, and then we reveal a little bit more. All right. So, what do you think she is now, and where is she, Rhonda? Yeah, but I like wrong answers because now we know that we're focusing the students on what could be really happening. All right, so where is she? Okay, who's that behind her? What's behind her? Okay, I don't know why the chat is slow. Uh, Oh, a dog. It's a big dog, man. Look at the size of it. Yeah, a wolf. Oh, that's interesting. Now, to be fair, we're on a webinar and the screen might be small. If that's a wolf, if you bear in mind that the head, a reindeer. Oh, sorry, I'm not laughing. I think this is fantastic. I never thought of this. Well, I like that we don't know because now when you watch the film, the first thing the kids can see, and they could be teenagers, this isn't a primary one, could be adults. Now you got them to first of all check, right, when you watch this very short film from Instagram, it's an Instagram reel. So we're not even going to YouTube yet. Um, it is a cow. Yeah, thanks. You'll soon see, and they can check. Um, and in the classroom, okay, you're going to play. I'm going to play this now, and in the classroom, I would like you to tell the students to watch this. That the link will be at the end of the presentation. You can play this, and ask them not to write anything down. Okay, they mustn't write anything down. Got to check, and they have to watch this short clip, and then at the end, maybe in groups of three or pairs, they must now brainstorm what they remember, especially doing things like verbs. So no writing down. You can do it now. I don't care. But in the classroom, I want them to use it like a memory game. So they're not concentrating on writing. They're concentrating on watching. All right. So watch this and see how many things you can remember that are verbs, things that you're doing. I don't think there's any sound to listen to. It's not important. I love that bit. Yeah. Oh, cute. I just find it so cute. Okay, so it's not a wolf or a dog. Um, isn't that the sweetest picture? Okay, so okay, I don't care if you were cheating, but please ask your students to not write things down. And then, having seen this, they then, in groups and pairs, get together and brainstorm. And they may not know the words. If it's a low-level group, if they're primary, maybe, I don't mind what language they write down the verbs. You can help them translate it. But what we're doing is letting them see the action and remember. And we're going to do something about that. We won't have time today, but I'll show you what we can do with that. But in the chat, please just show me some of the verbs or expressions of what was happening in the clip. And notice how short it was. And if the video is a little bit jerky, I think Zoom sometimes doesn't allow smooth playing of video. But I can assure you, the videos you see today are clear and smooth, and the links are at the end. But, yeah. Well, is it a shirt? Let's think about clothes as a topic, because we are trying to link our films and videos to topics in our course books and the language. So I'm sorry to correct you again, but we have to really decide, is it a shirt? What time of day is it, I wonder? Pajamas, yeah. We're steering the kids or the teens or your learners to see something is going on here. What kind of things were happening? Give me some verbs and some words you saw. What are they doing? Yeah, pushing, shoving. Thanks, Rhonda. Making a mess. I've got that one too. Making a mess. Rolling in the mess. Feeding. Yeah, okay. And of course, what's the general topic? If you were thinking about lining this up with a course book, because what I like to do, what I love to do in my training is think, okay, we have to use a course book though. Right, okay, let's make it, come to life. If there isn't a video with it, let's use a quick one to warm up the students or activate the language. So what could be the topic or something you're using in your course book where you could simply use this to introduce the topic? And I was thinking, anybody? Routines, okay? Well, taking care of the cattle is a good topic because you've got farmyards, haven't you? You've got looking after animals. We talk about pets. So again, I'm thinking, how could I use this in the classroom? Well, the first thing I'd be thinking of is, and here's a good point to make for all of you, if you don't already do this, start to keep a little archive of your favorite video clips. We all do it. We're all looking on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. And if you don't already, keep a list of the ones that you think could be useful in the classroom for whatever reason. And of course, if you can start to make that list a little bit more focused about this clip was good for routines. This clip was good for starting the topic of food. Yeah. So what I did next is I thought I elicit from the class. So once they start to tell me a list of the things that were happening, I might do something like this. Okay, and then I want them to make sentences in the present continuous. So I'd like a couple of people in the chat. Come on, this is session number 6. Write down a present continuous sentence using a verb and a word next to it here. We've had one just before from Rhonda. We had earlier, she's opening the door. She's putting out the bag. He knocked the bag, or he was knocking the bag. He was making a mess. Anybody else want to put something in the chat? He was making a mess. Thanks, Sue. What about, I put chin. She was brushing, or she is brushing his chin. I did that because they might not, I don't know, is it fur? Do cows have fur? Looks like a very furry chin. Not a hairy chin, I don't know. So there's a very quick way for you to take a short clip. I mean, how long was that? 30 seconds. And then we've established some routines. What time of day is it? In the chat. Come on, tell me in the chat. What time of day do you think it was? Here's the clue. Yeah, evening, night. Why? Why is it night? How do you know it's night? There's no moon. It's not dark. How do you know it's night? How do you know it's nighttime? Okay, I want to. SS, can I have a sentence, please? Come on, kids. I'd like a full sentence. Yeah, exactly. Thanks. So I'm just being a teacher here. I want the students to be giving me full sentences. And yeah, I can see that. And of course, what I'm doing is I'm pulling from them what what they make of this, what they can decide as a context. Yeah, it's wearing pajamas and making his bed, and so on. And they can write them, you know. And of course, they can play this clip back, and then maybe some of the students can go back and play the clip again and do the commentary. She's emptying the bag, and then you can stop it. Now, you, student number 4, when you point here, he's making a mess. You know, and this is kind of basic teacher scaffolding of language production, isn't it? To get them speaking in very, very carefully structured way, and they can write sentences later. Okay, let's go to another one. I'm moving my webinar chat out of the way. So here I am saying what else you could do it for. This video would be great for pets routines, wouldn't it? Ask your students what their pets routines are. What are your routines? Do you wear pajamas? Maybe not. But I mean, you know, what do you do before you go to bed? Well, you know, wash my face, brush my teeth, put on my pajamas, whatever. Watch television. Did you see the cow was watching television? I thought that was really cute. So, of course, we're now taking this very simple clip and opening it out. And I might do this just before I open the course book. So supposing I'm doing a lesson on routines or even food, maybe, but certainly routines. I like that one. And haven't we always got to teach that? And maybe use this first. So this is a good way to get a little clip warming up the students to what will be maybe some work in a course book. And then we can revisit it another one and maybe ask the students to find their own. Because isn't that what they're doing anyway? They're looking at clips all the time online, and maybe they could start to collect in the class. So in your case as a teacher, you could collect your own favorite videos for certain things in your course books, or language points or skills practice, or things that just made you laugh. I mean, we want to have some fun in the classroom, but I do think we should have a purpose, an outcome, a language teaching outcome that they can then personalize. We don't want them to just watch a film and do some language work. That's academic. How can it apply to them? How can this language apply to them? So their routines. But maybe as a class, you can also collect your own archive of clips that they've brought to you that you think you could use. And then you've got them working with you as a sort of a film archive, and they can all feel a bit more involved. Here's a very quick one, all right? Opening a door, same thing. Where is he? What's happening? What's going to happen? And I just thought this was so funny. Let's watch this one. Hilarious. What's the topic here? We could use this just to, what's the topic here, teachers? Yes, too cold. We've got adjectives, okay? So you can use these just to get the kids, the learners, all warmed, well, not warmed up with this one, but thinking about what's going to come next, which could be the weather, in and out, prepositions, yeah, cold. So what I think people often believe is that video and film should be a long clip and it can take a lot of preparation. Yeah, you can just simply say, you know, what do you think is going to happen? What happened? What's the weather like? And then you've got a lesson on the weather, maybe that's coming up in the course book. And then this might be a nice little lead in, you know, or even midway through the lesson when you think the learners are just dipping in their mood. You could play this, activate them again and go back. So I think we can use these in lots of ways strategically to pace our lessons. Yeah, I realized, Sue, that, thank you. I noticed I've gone through a bit of a farm animal. I don't know, I noticed that the other day when I realized, oh, people are going to think this is a topic about farms. Maybe deep down I want to go and be on a farm. I don't know. Thanks, Sue. Yeah, that's a different topic. Okay. Now, trailers. If you look on YouTube, there's lots of fantastic trailers for films. And of course, it's good to find trailers for films that you know your learners would love. But ideally, trailers for films that they would love and have something you can use in the classroom. Now, I'm going to move quickly because I think we might run out of time, but I want to show you a couple of more films, and then some ideas that work around them. Now, just in the chat, well, I won't wait for the chat. I think there's a delay. The reason trailers are really good is because they're also short. You know, you don't get the whole film, but you get a sense of the film. And in a trailer, you're kind of capturing a lot of action. So if you're looking for more action things like verbs and of course lots of lexical areas, there's lots of things happening in a clip. And I'm going to show you one now from around the world in 80 days. And one of the reasons I'm showing this clip is because Around the World in 80 Days is a classic. And I hope that many of you are using graded readers. I love to talk and do sessions about using graded readers in the classroom in many, many different effective ways. So, Sue, if you're listening, I'm very happy to do one on graded reading and how we can change the students' perception of reading and be more creative. And one of the ways is to use video clips in this instance to maybe get the students to feel they know a little bit about the story before they even open the reader. So what could we do here? We're going to brainstorm types of transport. So for time, well, maybe we do have one or two in the chat. Please, in the chat, put in some transport words, anything. I would want the learners in my classroom to be shouting out words. And if they don't know those words in English, they can shout them in their own language and you help them. Because what we want, a bullet train, that is pretty sophisticated. Yeah, of course you would. We don't have bullet trains in England, in the UK. They're not bullets, that's for sure. Airplane, bus, car. Thank you. Great. So we brainstorm. We list them on the board. Okay. Now we have a list. Now in that list, like you've done, airplane, bus, car, lorry. In that list, you have the whole list. When you're done and you agree, ferry. Oh, I didn't do ferry. That's a good one. I never thought of that. Ferry. I'm going to use that next time. I should know that. Anyway, and you have the list. And what the students do now, this is the only thing they have to do. They don't have to listen to anything or understand anything. They just watch the video and then tick the transport words that they do see. Right? Right. Let's go. They can note them down or they can check the list. Which ones did they see and which ones in your list were not there? Right. Let's play and see.
Depends on which one we saw. It was going to be a clap, but I feel my hands.
Don't worry about sound. It's only about watching.
Don't do that.
The spark was a dream.
By my calculations, I've traveled around the world.
Well then, Paul, a wager. If you have up, you must never invent again.
I'll take your wager.
Can you hear the sound? I'm just curious.
You must always live life by the clock. See? That's 80 days. Just how far his imagination can take.
Impressive. I'd have let go by now.
Faces feels.
It's what happens when you leave your home. You mean?
I'm courage. Where are they now?
They're traveling across China. You're to be brave. Don't frighten me. Right. It helps to me.
Discover history.
I've seen the world working on my flying machine. I'm learning of new cultures.
The barrage says to be the life number 7.
7 lives?
One for each day of the week. Would Tuesdays work for you?
Modern Media presents
Everything that my life's work.
for something you believe in. Nothing could make more sense than that. A story about how far you can go. Please step off. Are you sure? No! When you check your dream.
Oh. Stop. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is what's going on here. The thing about a trailer, there's a lot happening. Okay, which is why it's even more important that when you're with the class, you say, okay, there's going to be a lot happening. All you have to do is watch for this list of transport words we've got and see if you can spot them. That way, you're not letting them feeling overwhelmed with all the action or too lost in the action. Remember to stop it early on and say, hang on, guys, let's just check. Are we watching a film or are we doing a task? And then the other thing is they don't worry about anything that they can hear. There might be clips you find where you are going to be working with the sound and the things that are being said. There's lots of great activities for that. I think today I'm focusing more on what you see rather than what you hear. And again, here, they only have to focus on transport words. So I won't do it now for time, but this is my list. I hope you agree. And then some people will go, I didn't see roller skates. And then you can play it again. Of course, we're only doing a webinar today, but in the class, you can show a clip any number of times to achieve your outcome, which might be to, maybe see if they could get it again the second time, or maybe go back and check their answers. Yeah, so what would be good next is to say to you, well, now we know. I'm just moving the chat out of the way. You could actually listen for phrases in clips like this. Or another way to take it is that you could, I'm going to show you an example in a minute from a scene from Aladdin, which is another classic. I like to often use clips that do work with readers because we want students reading and to feel that actually, there's a connection between reading and enjoyment. But of course, around the world in 80 days, you've got lots of transport words there. I could go back and say, guys, in groups, I like groups of 3, really. I want you to pick 4 transport words, okay, and describe a journey you make together or you made last year. Imagine you had a journey around the world, pick 4 things, or maybe a journey around your country, and make it crazy. Let's not be too sensible, but we are using the words. So again, we can align this with the topic of transport or travel in our course books. So I keep trying to remember, we do use course books for good reasons, but we do want to make sure we can, bring in some of the things that feel real, because the publishers do fantastic videos, and that's great, and they're getting better and better all the time. But I think that if they also can see that the teacher hasn't gone to the course book every time, that there's a psychological feeling of positivity, I think, when the students notice the teacher has gone and done something a bit different than the course book. And I think that's huge. So you could jumble up some scenes, 5 or 6 scenes, and we'll look at that now and see what that could look like in this clip. Now, I think this is a bit lower in age because it's a cartoon, but I don't know, depends how you feel about using cartoons. But I thought I would also help you here if you're teaching primary. I would ask at the beginning, like another situation, before I play the clip, where are we? Why don't you tell me now in the chat, where are we? And what do you think we're going to see? That kind of thing. Where are we? Just quickly. So I can check you can still hear me. Not a market, okay. And what we're going to do is we would pre-teach these words if they didn't know them already. You might have flashcards or make them, because you could take little cuttings or snapshots of the relevant part of the video. And I would put these up and let the students realize, okay, now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. So again, I'm making a very focused activity. So they're going to watch it. You're going to watch this now. And I'd like you to not write it down, but in groups or pairs afterwards in the classroom, the students would watch this clip and then decide at the end which order they saw the objects. Or you can ask them to just shout out the word when they see it in the clip. So you've got not only the group involved and watching, but they're also focusing on language, in this case, simply vocabulary. All right? So you can keep in mind these words, and let's watch the clip.
Try this way. Dance and sing.
Don't worry about the sound. I'm more interested in watching.
Oh, and a boo. It's sir. Listen to the lovely song and tree. You'll find her potted brass or silver. Sugar dates and figs, sugar dates and pistachios. Would the lady like a necklace? A pretty necklace for a pretty lady. Fresh fish! We catch them, you buy it!
I don't think so. Oh, excuse me. I'm really very sorry.
Look at his face. Wow. Me? Oh, this whole thing?
Must be hungry. Here you go.
Better be able to pay for that.
Hey.
No one steals from my time.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I don't have any money. Oh, please. If you let me go to the palace, I can get some from the Sultan.
No, you know what the better. Or please. Thank you, kind sir. I'm so glad you found me. I've been looking all over for you. Just play along.
Okay, so that's that. Nice little scene. Okay, just getting a time check, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to move quickly. And don't worry, the slides I move on to are ones you can read later with lots of ideas and links. So again, I won't do it now, but in the classroom, you would say, okay, guys, you've got a few minutes. All right, you knew the words. We've got the words here, sword, melon, monkey, whatever. Which order did they come in? And then you can play it again and they can check their answers together. That's one thing. Then another one you could do is you could maybe take some pictures. You know how to maybe take little snapshots of the parts of a video, and I just jumbled them up. I made this. Nobody made this. There are lots of ways to do it. And I'm sure you know even better ways than me, and your students will certainly know, especially when it comes to finding tools to help you, which we'll mention at the end on AI to make transcripts and AI to make activities. But look, grabbing the hand, the monkey stealing the melon, necklace, the apple, showing a fish. So again, you could put numbers on these and then ask the students to decide, you know, which numbers are in which order, which came first. The melon, I think the monkey came first, stealing the melon. Then I think, so in a lesson, it would be more interactive with me and the students, whereas here, I guess, I'm just demonstrating really. But I would want them to be involved and working together, either moving pictures, you could even print the pictures out, or you can stick them on the wall and they can walk around and stand under the first one that they think, and then stand under which is the second picture in the sequence so that they can understand. And then, you know, another way would be to ask the students to retell the story. I mean, in the end, we're not watching a film to entertain them or even just see if they can spot a few words. We want them to learn the words, but of course, we want them to use the language. And what better way for them to then retell the story and use the language they've been given? And of course, you scaffold that as you go. You can maybe ask the students to watch again, and then the class is in 3 groups. One group looks for any adjectives and feelings. Another group looks for only verbs. And the other group looks for just nouns. All right. And there's things like give, show, take, whatever. You've got sword, monkey, blah, blah. You've got happy, frightened, you know, angry. And then those 3 groups can all mix up so that they can put their all together. So that's a really good way to get the students physically moving around and using what they've seen. That works really well. I know Patty has maybe seen me do that. Again, I'm choosing Aladdin because this is a scene you might find in the book. And isn't it great to sort of feel as a student, you can have a break from the reading and see what you've been reading is actually in action. Now, I'm going to move a bit more quickly towards the end. Sometimes you can take scenes that you've noticed in the clip and make them into sentences for a reading, you know, and then this is the correct order, but I could actually maybe photocopy a word list like this a number of times, chop them up, and put sets of mixed up jumbled sentences on the desks. It's not very digital, but hey, it gets the students moving things around and deciding in which order. So this would be the correct order, but a nice jumbled sentences way is a good way to get the students thinking about some reading in a very sort of focused way on the sequence of the scenes. And also you can change the tenses, so let's not make it present simple. You could then ask the students to watch the video again and then commentate on past continuous. The monkey was taking the melon. He was taking the apple. She was taking the apple. Or what happened yesterday? Well, she took the apple. He held a sword. The boy helped the girl. So you can easily switch the tenses now. So now you're making the clip a little bit more challenging. Okay. And you can read all these later when I send the slides and the link to this clip. But you can apply this to pretty much anything that you think is appropriate for your age and level and topic for your learners. There you go. Nouns, adjectives, verbs, working in groups. Here's a very popular one where they work in pairs, okay, and you tell the student, you just check that, make sure the students know who they are. Some of them are A and some of them are B, and the Bs have to turn their back, okay? Turn the sound down, all right? The sound goes down on the video. You play the video. Student A can watch and must describe the action that they see to B, and B can't see, and they have to listen. And then halfway through, you can change it round. That's a really cool activity. And of course, you've got drama potential, haven't you? You might want them to do the whole thing, or you can go back to that little sequence here, and then if they have got numbers on, you can ask the students to mime or simply use their English to describe, and they can choose the number. So it's very, very varied, very, very simple and focused. We're not going to overcomplicate things and get caught up. So before I move on now to the end, where I'm going to recommend that you take these slides away and try to find your own clips and try the activities with all manner of topics and language points in the films that you find. You can make true or false statements. You can maybe stop the video that you're playing into the class and make true or false statements, or ask the students to make a true or false statement about something that's happening. So, and that's very good for the students that are maybe not so confident. They can maybe be the teacher. So once they realize what you're doing, which is stopping the action and saying, the man in the marketplace showed her a chicken. No, false. Okay. The man had a sword. True. Okay. When they know that's happening, they could be the teacher and they make sentences. That's a good way for them to feel a bit more empowered. Give out some list of things that the students can then notice and shout out when they see the word. They can attach speech to the different characters. Which character said what? And of course, you can make transcripts with tools I'll show at the end, where you can make gap fill or even a summary of the whole thing with mistakes. And now you've turned the video clip into a more, I suppose, a classroom activity. But why not? Because we are bridging the gap between what is going on in a sort of outside world of YouTube and some activities, and leading it into what's going to be stuff they do in the class, which is more towards exams and reading and writing. And here it's going to be more reading comprehension and writing from the clip. So it can all lead into the stuff you're doing already. Yeah, that's it. Students can make their own commentary. What else do I need to say? When you hear useful phrases, I think it's great when you have drama on a film clip, and ask the students to listen for a phrase like I'm sorry, I think in Aladdin, but you could make sure that they get the drama to really exaggerate. I'm so sorry. Or wait, what are you doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? And you get the students to kind of laugh a little bit, but notice that language isn't just, English certainly isn't just a list of words in a correct grammatical order. There's intonation. And the great thing about films is they often exaggerate for dramatic purposes. And that makes it memorable, because what we want the students to feel is that this language is not only useful and practical, but they can remember it. And in an audio-visual context, language is going to be very memorable, especially if they're now moving around doing the drama. You can think about what was happening before. So what could have been happening before the marketplace scene, or after the girl is saved by the boy? Where do they go after that? What happens? And so when I give you a QR code at the end of this session, I'm going to end now and take any questions. But all of these videos I've used so far are available to you. Don't worry about not noting them down right now. At the end of the chat, I'll put the slide link in there with the clips, and you can play them. But remember to find your own clips and keep a list. Make it your teaching habit. It's good fun. I mean, I love preparing this. I mean, this is not difficult work to find clips. The difficult part is to think, well, which ones are most useful? I mean, my goal today is to think, which clips could I show you, and which activities would make you feel that the whole world can open now with pretty much any clip that you think could hit the point on a language item or getting a skill to be used, and that we can use them in different ways. So before I take some questions and maybe ask a bit more, there's links to follow in my slides about tools that can help you create activities with AI, worksheets, ideas for projects, creating transcripts. You might find many more than I've got here. So you'll see those later. Very, very useful links here on resources where ideas for using films have been created for you. And a nice collection of short films from Nick Peachy, who does a lot on using technology. That link down there will give you loads of ideas for actual short films that you can work with. And finally, do check out Russell Stannard's website. And that link there has a link to various tools you can use where you can play with audio and video in very simple ways to adapt the transcript, or take the clip and make it more into activity-based work. And Lesson Stream is a new thing coming from Jamie Keddy, who's also very well known on using film and video, in particular getting learners to tell stories. So we all know storytelling is really important. So Lesson Stream is coming out soon. It's a little mini course on using video. And of course, it doesn't take long to just Google some good links for other teachers who've shared ideas on how they use film and video, including some there from the British Council and some people I know who are really very, very committed to sharing ideas with teachers. So there's the QR code for the whole slide deck and some links, and my email address is there. By all means, email me if you've got any particular questions or needs or thoughts or comments or feedback. I always reply, and I love helping teachers with ideas, because one of my passions is to find materials for people and help them to use it effectively. So that was engaging activities, I hope, and try them, and then let me know how you got on.